We got ourselves Get Glaive over on the team too, with Hockey on the team. Oh, switching up the mug. I like it. More or less the OG. It's so weird that you can actually see the eyes. Was that always like that? So you can see the eyes from behind the mask? Or was it always like very, very hard to see before? I don't know. It feels like if it's a little bit too high up on your face or something. Is it me? We got this whole body on that Team Ultimate Beast. First up as a Sass with Chicago in the back. I like it, that mog. I like it, a bit of a switch up. Versus PRF. What is that supposed to stand for, by the way? Please rise. Friends. Perfect. Redundant. Fighting. I don't know. What does PRF stand for? Is this one of those like, leave your comments down below. What do you think PRF stands for? Ultimate Beast? No! His health just disappeared. This rogue press vanished, but he didn't vanish, only his health bar did. What is happening? He's just bailing out of it. He's like, you know what? I am reconsidering my process here, my thoughts here. Hold on a second. PRF just absolutely whipping him up here. Trinket has been used by PRF though, as well as Ultima. And Ultima still has cooldowns though, so if he can just, he doesn't have cloak anymore. If he's gonna get onto PRF, he needs to make sure he stuns him, full death mark, all dots, and then finds a way to avoid being karma'd. And then I think you can probably one-shot him here. Into a Fist of Fury Karma right after, he's gonna be Spirit taking a little bit of damage, or Ultima would rather taking a bit of damage. Evasions up, trying to see if he can avoid him as best as possible. Does he go for step? No, he's not gonna go for step. But PRF is still taking quite a bit of damage though. Death mark has not been used. The rogue needs a full stun with the death mark and everything on the guy. Blind, if you can build some comp points after that Zuen, leaping in, trying to see if you catch up to the rogue, but the rogue is speedy. Oh man, not gonna get touched by this guy at all. He needs to make sure he has full kidney shot, full death mark. He could end this right here. He just needs everything sent. This opener needs to be perfect. Perfect. Better know he has a leg sweep ready for you. Cheap shot before leg sweep comes out. Full dots are in. Death mark is in as well. It's going to be leg sweep. We're going to try to see if you can race this DPS race. It looks like he's going to be able to take it. Dots are still on him. That is so rough. Badia and Chicago both trying to fight for the next spot. Chicago trying to give this man as much of an honor duel. That is so rough. Yeah, I actually thought, oh, death mark, everything. Oh, this is going to be it. But maybe you should have just waited for the death mark a little bit, right? Maybe you should have just waited until death mark dance and everything was available, and then had cloak on top of it, just avoid a karma. Actually, no, he would have had everything up and karma wouldn't have been available yet. Okay, never mind. Yeah, but it's one of those things you can never really know what the enemy has cooldown wise unless you have the add-ons to track it. Otherwise, we can tell. The audience gets to see it. Lasso by Chicago, Trinket by PRF, knockback by Chicago with a hex to follow. Just established full ultimate control over PRF, leaping in right after. He got full Serenity. You don't have to fight the Serenity. You're just going to get some Ghost Wolves in there with a Karma. Lex, it's going to be Ring of Peace as well. Knocking it back, does end up getting the angle too. And the Wolves jump right down. I never seen those Wolves jump down like that before. I didn't know they could jump off a platform like that and just chase. Is that new, or did they all just get booped away? Is that what happened? I don't even know. I've never seen that before. Got himself a leg sweep. Chicago living it, and PRF got nothing left. Maybe a dampen home could help him a little. Fist of Fury flying in. Chicago just does a couple of casts, knocking it back for a second, rolling back in. Sunder right after. Chicago very, very low in health, but so is PRF, trying to see if he can recover a little bit. Getting out of that route immediately with a Tiger's Lust, but I think the lasso, the taser, I think it's going to be the end of you. Oh, he just needed one more global. I think it was a flame shark that took him out too. Well done with, what is it going to be? It's going to be Sandia up next. I like the mug, like the Lego, everything, the whole ensemble. Look at that. The Shadow Flame Paladin. Look at that. It looks so good. Charging in on Chicago immediately. Chicago walking into this one with full cooldowns. Knockback does not quite get Sandia off the bridge. Final wreck, I believe, does end up connecting with him. Chicago bailing, jumping the bridge. Sandia chasing after, hoping to keep the pressure rolling. That is going to be total taking him down unless a Hand of Freedom is available. And it looks like might have used Hand of Freedom a little bit earlier. Give Chicago that much needed breather. Recuperate those cooldowns. Figure something out, man. I noticed how fast, all good. Please return family. Please return Furbies. Lol. I like to please return Furbies. I like Please Return Furbies. That's pretty good. Hex on to Sandia. As the Shield of Vengeance is active, this is the opportunity for Sandia to stay in, get aggressive. It looks like the full crusade has been dealt with by Chicago. Sandia may be looking at immunity here, because now it's Chicago's turn to get the question and answer of this duel. Is going to be a bit of a blind on to Chicago. Cannot play aggressively for a second or two. but he's going to be able to get quite a bit of damage on Sandia. Bubble to follow, just needs to survive it. Chicago looking for the recovery. Sandia trying to keep the pressure rolling while Bubble is active, while they get the full immunity, but as soon as that wanes, Sunder to follow. The Chicago have a big setup, try to zap him down. Is it going to be enough there? It's going to be blind last second. Sandia at no health, needs to escape or CC, and that's going to be final wreck, final chance to set something. Decided to go aggression, but Chicago already had something cooking at the very end of it all with mutation. Next up, this is going to be the toughest matchup for Chicago, sitting down for mana, all the mana in the world. Dampening is slowly starting to roll in bit by bit. Chicago does have a trinket as well as a wall, knockbacks to mutation, and if you get yourself on top of the bridge, maybe you might be able to knock mutation, and if he's quick enough, should be able to reposition back on top of the bridge. But if you can knock him off the bridge, he's gonna have to waste a lot of movement just trying to get back to you, trying to see if he can set it up. Oh, I think he made a mistake though with a bit of a flyby. Chicago does end up trinketing though. Hold on, that is a trinket on Chicago either way, with a hunter following Chicago with a lasso. Trying to see if he can maybe live this. That's still a lot of damage going right through you. Into a root onto mutation. The Chicago looking to bounce out of there. Mutation got them on the ropes right now. The Chicago looking for recovery. Ghost Wolves are in. It's going to give you lots of maelstrom. Mutation backing up out of there while the wolves are on him. I think he just tried to avoid any Elo blast out of Chicago. Leaping in. The shaman is actually getting aggressive. Trying to go for a Sunder, does not connect. And Mutation was able to avoid it into a metamorphosis right after. You got to find a way to control this meta. This is going to be full on I-beam root. Trying to close the gap, but he can't. He's trying his hardest. The amount of control this shaman evokes is kind of nuts. He's gonna need to evoke this control. Lasso mutation will not give up a trinket. His metamorphosis should be winning. There it goes. He does have I-beam, so I can just send him up another big go. Into a brave wall for Chicago. Mutation is not gonna fight it. He's just gonna wait out the wall. Into a fear. Chicago cannot really get out of it unless they have a pre-tremor. That is going to be mutation back it up out, trying to generate even more damage. Big I-beam is available. Is he going to go for a full stun? Knockback into a root right after. Chicago does give himself a breather. Sunder on that cleave is able to maybe avoid some of the damage that's going to be meta, falling off in between of the Death's Advance into a burrow as a hunt comes out. He's just trying to give himself a little bit of survivability. Just try to stay away from the guy as best as possible, but mutation not give him a chance. Yet another stun into a knockback. Chicago needs a heal right now. At least the maelstrom is being fueled by these raptors, by these feral spirits. So at least he's got him. You actually switched out from raptors. I'm kind of surprised. No trick on mutation just yet, but Chicago is super low. Is going to try to knock him, trying to avoid the root that follows after the knock. And can you stay away? Try to see if you can use the totem to keep him at bay. I don't know if you got a root totem or anything. Needs something right now, Sunder. Oh, but he breaks out of that either way. That is so rough, man. That is so rough. Oh, man. With Horde body up next, we are getting into the 8-minute mark. 40% dampener as a full chain comes out. Mutation, try to see if he can avoid Horde body up. IBF used really early into a trinket right after, trying to see if he can stabilize and get himself some kind of damage roll. And then Army of the Undeads joins up with the grippy hand and everything. May need AMS and every defensive just to survive. That's just an all-in battle between the two. AMS is up as Body just needs to find a way to cleave in some damage to mutation. Does silence him for a second. Doesn't stop him from being able to stun into full meta, avoiding a blind out of the demon, out of the Death Knight, and should be able to cleave him down with a couple of glaive tosses, right? Gets a stun. Go for death strikes. Yeah, there's just no shot. There's just no way. It's a fully ramped up Demon Hunter and Glaive is gonna have to find a way to fight through him. I'm really putting Hawk in the back. Man, keeping Hawk in the back burner for this one. Mutation leaping in, immediately trying to get as many soul shrouds out of Glaive in order to catch up a little bit of healing of his own. That is a full meta? No, not a full meta out of Glaive. Mutation though, what his cooldowns look like? He got Hunt, so at least he can get himself some healing into a stun into Glaive, trying to see if he can force a trinket out of the guy. That is going to be an immunity out of the Hunt though. That is kind of wild. That is actually wild. Full I-beam available. Trying to see if he can go for a bit of a backflip into a full cleave. Oh my god, the burst! Oh, that is so strong. What is that? That is so strong. Oh my god, the hit and runs. Man, Chicago was trying to establish a little bit of like dominance there, but it's down to Hockey's, man. Is Hockey's there? Oh man, bummer. Absolute bummer. This is going well too. Man, Mutation almost got a full clean run there too. Or I guess 3 is still pretty good, but like 4 would have been clean, man. Damn. Well, and with that, I think we're done, boys, right?